yeah. I would be less
We're
interested.
live. Sorry. So Sharang was explaining that he's less interested in me, but more interested in the NPCs I portray, except for Margot.
I'm all about the role play. Oh my god. No.
During the prep,
no, Margot.
Whatever do to you.
During the
No,
prep, I was
Margot.
talking about different NPCs that would show up to help. I was like, and if Margot shows up, Sharang would be like, "Here, drink this coffee. There's nothing in it."
Yes. Here's a PhD in chemistry.
So, hi everyone. This is let me. I need to do a quick adjustment to that overlay. If you'd spare me a moment, because I did update it in Photoshop. But now, there we go. Episode 11, Auron Attacks. So hi, my name's Grant Ellis. I'm the director of the Dracula Dossier, a highly collaborative improvisational campaign by Pelgrane Press. Our chatbot is no longer working for whatever reason. I'm going to try rebooting it. But yes, we are deep into the campaign with only 3 episodes remaining after this. Currently, our heroes are on the H.M.S. Proserpine, which is an offshore vessel, a vampire containment facility. And they are face to face with one of the brides of Dracula, Auron, a German science experiment gone wrong. The villainous Dr. Draws, second in command of Edom, does not trust Daquan, who has recently been revealed as a Duke of Edom. But before we get too deep into the weeds today, why don't we go around and introduce ourselves? So the throw order for this will be Pro, Jess, and then Sharang.
Hey, yeah, I am Prori Starter, playing Daquan Nails, Duke of Edom, gun mechanic, and all that other specialist stuff with all the driving and shooting and flying. Looking forward to dying in this episode now that I'm being attacked in this small room. I say that every time.
I just died in the campaign tonight. Cutting crew. Hi, Jess. How are you?
I am absolutely fantabulous. I look forward to this every night, no matter how tired I am in the morning. And, it starts off my weekend right, being here. I'm Jess. I use they, them pronouns. I go by Burst of Hope on Twitter. And tonight I play Jisoo. She, her pronouns, a hacker / inventor of gadgets on the go, trying to live her best life.
Gotta get them gadgets.
And I'm Sharang Biswas. I'm a game designer, writer, and artist, currently based in New York City. And hopefully we'll win an award next week because I'm up for one for the IGDN. So we will see. That was a joke because everyone always calls me award-winning game designer. No, that was a joke because I call myself award-winning game designer.
Award-winning game designer Sharang!
Award-winning game designer Sharang.
But if I win another one next week, it'll be even sexier. And I am playing Antal Khoury, who is an assassin and has a PhD in chemistry and speaks Arabic, among other languages, and is currently making Turkish coffee for an Edom bigwig, not knowing that his colleague Daquan is fighting a bride of Dracula.
That's what makes this great. So, what I might recommend for this session is hot potato, where if we feel the heat is too much on our scene, we toss it to the next person, because there are some potatoes and they be hot in this here campaign.
There are some players and they be hot in this here campaign.
Smoking. Have you ever seen a quadrille, a foursome of such beautiful and adorable?
You're trying.
No, I've never seen smiles so genuine as this group. In fact, we receive messages weekly from our sponsors and our distributors. They say every thumbnail that comes up in the video, Sharong is smiling brightly.
Sharong's smile. It gives
It's
me
great.
life.
Yeah, they've tweeted out about it. They go, I mean, we love picking thumbnails for these videos because Sharong is smiling. And there's a really good one of Promi and Sharong where, like, my head's thrown back and everyone's smiling. It's a big laugh.
We are sexy.
We are, and we know it. So, I think what we should do is we should start and return into the vampire holding cell. Dr. Draws is there and has just thrown the switch, and Alron, the vampire, has sprung up and is preparing to fight Daquan. Daquan, what is your move?
Wait, can I ask a question of the scene? The
You can.
other vampire is still in the coffin,
Still in the
just
coffin.
slightly bloody, right?
Yeah, I'm probably
Or a
regenerating
drill.
in no time because they regenerate
Okay.
pretty quickly.
Great, okay.
Mm-hmm. So, seeing how they interacted with each other, just her being in this coffin, and this vampire wanting to know what was in them, in the coffin, Daquan's going to, because I believe last session you said I knew that like the wives don't really like each other, and there's like this animosity kind of thing. So Daquan is going to kind of try and jump to the side, go on top of the coffin, and as they roll off, like the lid will like pop up.
Nice.
Nice. Go ahead and make an athletics check for me. It's going to be a difficulty 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend 3 points.
Woo!
If
So
you
I have
spend
10.
2, it'll count because
Oh,
you
right.
roll a die.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
one,
yeah, that's
right.
true. Yeah, so I spent 2 then. Thank you for that. Okay, so
I had to
Let's move
teach
on
the
over.
game today. We're min-maxing.
I get a 7.
All right.
Nice.
So yeah, you roll over and pop it open, and Ileana's in there. She is going to rise up when it gets around to her turn in initiative. Dr. Draws moves to the cabinet and pulls out a familiar-looking device. It looks like kind of like a pistol with a red chamber on it that's filled with red liquid, and she injects it into her arm.
Oh, we know that red liquid. That's the
Seaward serum.
Renfield. Yeah,
Super
we have
juice.
some. Yeah.
Yeah, and so she is jacking up. That is what she does on her turn. Alron looks at Daquan and is going to move in and attempt to bite you. So this is going to be opposed hand-to-hand.
No.
And she is spending 3 points.
Let's see here.
She's
gonna
got a 6.
spend.
That's
Uh,
6.
Am I able to use kind of weapons for this? That's kind of like out of the way, or is it hand to hand? Which I don't mind either one. I'm just asking if I can.
I would say you could use a weapon if you have one. Currently, you don't. I don't think you can makeshift one in the room.
Yeah, I don't think right now because I guess I'm on the floor and I have the thing on me, so I'm just gonna spend 3, which is all of my hand to hand points. And let's roll it, shall we? Yeah.
You did it.
Hey, I beat a 7.
Nice.
So as she lunges towards me, I think I kind of kick up, and I grab whatever beaker's on the side and I like smash the beaker in her face.
Yeah, and you hit. And you notice as it shatters, and it kind of. You notice it doesn't blemish her perfect face at all, but it does kind of shatter, and you notice whatever lacerations there were, they are healing quickly. And with that, it's Ileana's turn. Ileana rises up. Her and Alron's eyes meet, and Ileana's going to attempt to mesmerize her. And Alron...
Wait, the vampire made wives trying to mesmerize each other?
Not only are they going to try to mesmerize each other, they're going to try to take over each other's minds
Oh
constantly.
my god, I love this!
Yes. So
We're about to have the Battle of the Minds, wire fighting wushu style.
Yeah.
she doesn't manage to mesmerize Alrun in this turn, and it goes back to Daquan.
Remind me, the room that the other vampire woman was in, I can't remember her name, sorry. The Russian woman.
Oh.
She was in a room that was just made so they could dump her, or there was some fail safe in it or something. I can't remember if he said that.
No, she was simply strapped to a chair and not very tightly.
And there was glass.
Yeah, there was a glass separator which is now down.
Okay. It's nighttime, right?
No.
What time of day is it then?
It's late-ish. It's I would say the sun will probably begin to set within the next 30 minutes.
Okay, so you can kind of see where my plan is formulating here. So I would like to make a preparedness roll, because I sent off our red serum to my friend.
Yes.
For kind of research.
Oh yeah, I remember we did that, right?
Yeah.
Now
so,
here's let's talk about though. Did you send it to a member of Edom, or did you send it to somewhere else? Because you've been. It was
to my own backstory friend.
Oh yes.
Dennis.
Gotcha.
One of your contacts. Okay.
Yeah. So it was him, because I had 2 backstory contacts.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent it off to him. So I'd like to make a preparedness roll to say that I had secretly met with him to get a file back.
Oh no, you're gonna take some of that? Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're gonna take the C-word serum?
If I can.
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Oh my god, bro.
Just spend the points. How many points do you have?
I have 4 points. Should I spell one?
One of us turns into
spend
mist,
3.
One of us
spend 3 and you got it.
Serum.
Or you could. It's going to be a cost of 3, but you can spend. Oh come on! Sorry, my acrobat is crashing. I need to pull up the effects. I have them on one of the prep files. So it's a difficulty 3 to have the C-word serum back. So you can spend points, or you can spend points and roll.
Yeah, I spend the 3 points.
Okay, boom.
So
Oh my God.
I think as she injects herself and I see the room in glass, I just kind of pull out this small kind of glass file injector, and I look to her and just say, "Don't worry, I was preparing for this myself," and I just inject myself.
She's such a bomb. I want to slap her.
So good.
She brought you in and tried that, and now I will release a vampire. I was about to say maiden, but she's not a maiden. Vampire,
I was totally down to help her as well. I was like, "Yeah, we can cure cancer together. Let's do it."
And then she tried to attack you, and I'm like, slap her.
I support this.
Daquan has to now actually slap her if possible.
So, here's what you get. You now have 12 points to distribute among any of your general abilities, however you want. You're going to do extra damage when you hit. Mm-hmm. And now, you also gain the vampiric speed ability. So we talked about this in the prep stream. So you can spend athletics or health to make an extra attack, perform the jump-in stunt or mook shield, or have make your hit threshold 2 points higher. So anytime you want to be like, I'm harder to hit, you can just use that. But it costs athletics or health to use.
Could you just quickly paste that or screenshot?
Yeah, I'm gonna screenshot and send it over. I'll drop it in the Discord. It's
cool, but the thing I'm gonna raise up is going to be weapons. I'm gonna put 10 points in.
Okay.
And then the last 2 points are gonna go back in athletics, rounding it back up to 10.
Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna drop
10 weapons now. Woot! You're 14 or 16 weapons or something now, right?
16 weapons.
Yeah.
It's funny because in the handout section of our Discord, it's the last thing we pasted there. It's already there.
Is?
Yeah, but I've just added another one. So
oh, cool.
Where it's a little closer. All
We
right.
just love our serums.
All right. Alron is going to make her move on you.
Come on.
It's going to be okay. Bring it.
And I think I'll do the harder to hit one, so I'll use athletics.
Okay. Good. So what she does is she raises her arm and pulls it back like this, and then fires a bunch of tangle vines at you. So you're gonna have to make an athletics to get out of the way.
Okay.
Sorry, poison ivy.
I know, right?
These vampire wives, my god.
So so with the harder to hit, what's that give me? An extra point or?
It'll raise your hit threshold by 2. So right now your hit threshold is 3 or 4, something like that.
4, so it should be 6.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll spend another point then on my athletics to give me a +1 to the roll.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a 6.
All right.
Nice.
So she got 11 to hit. Yeah.
Ah.
So the vines wrap around you. But at that point, Dr. Draws is starting to realize that with Ileana here and Alron and you jacked up, she's not too sure what to do. So
Because she's a bum and me to slap her.
She is a bum.
well, what she does is she dashes across the room quickly and picks up her drill, like the massive power drill. And she's thinking, well, if Daquan's currently wrapped up and currently tangled, she might run you through with the drill. But she's not sure. She might have other uses for you. So she now has her drill, and that cost her some of her points from...
Preparedness.
essentially, she used vampiric speed. So she used speed to get across and pick it up. This is a ridiculous
You know
fight.
the drill.
It's so anime.
Yeah.
I love it.
It really is.
And with that, Ileana's turn. So, Ileana, let me pull up her block real quick. It's funny because one of our preps is literally just Ileana versus Orlok versus Alron. You know, because those are the three. Because it's like, what's going to happen if they all end up in the same room at the same time, and how would it go down? And my thought was Ileana and Alron will team up because they're brides and overpower Orlok, and then go off to go serve Dracula together, or just get married.
There's like, Daquan is currently a sort of vampire. Ileana and the other bride are a different kind of vampire, and Orlok is a third kind of vampire because he's the artificial one, right? That's wild.
I know, right?
Ileana sees that Daquan is tangled up, and she does her addictive bite on your neck. Here's why. She's doubling down on her bets. Essentially, she's like, if he's tangled up, I don't want them to take mind control over him. I'm taking mind control over him over now. We'll sort this out later. It's a complicated relationship.
Oh god!
Can I dodge that anyway?
You're currently entangled by the vines. If you can make an athletic... It's just one of those fictional... If you can make an athletics check 8, I'll let you move out of the way.
You're like fall over or something.
Well,
Yeah,
your hit
yeah.
threshold has like dropped to like 1, right? So it's one of those things. I'll let you roll out of the way if you'd like. If you can get an 8.
Okay.
Spend 6 points.
This is great. You go rolling out, all tangled out, hopping away.
You know
while
what?
they all
No,
fight each-
I'll take it. I want to save my points.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You can be cured of it. So she sinks her teeth
not
into you.
fun
You're
to
filled
be-
with euphoria and just like deep, pleasing thoughts. But this kind of the closest thing would be, people describe it as kind of like heroin. They go, it's one of those things. It feels great, but it's something that you will always crave after that. So you also have in Van Helsing's vampire hunting kit a way to treat bites. When they see this, they weren't expecting it, and now they are completely freaked out. and not too sure what to do.
Wait,
With
the doctor, you mean?
the doctor
Yeah.
and Alron, because they're like,
Oh.
hold on. I thought you were trying to mesmerize me, and now you're biting him? You know,
Clever Ileana.
What's going on?
yes. And with that, let's cut the camera over to Jisoo and find out what's going on. So, camera cuts. Hopkins is hobbling around with Jisoo through the H.M.S. Proserpine. The end of a long hallway, there is a ladder that goes up to the higher deck. The control deck would be up there, and that's where you can get access to the mainframe that has the conspiracy documents. However, you can hear what sounds like alarms now. It sounds like there's a lot of distress on the top deck, and there's a lot of confusion going on. How do you proceed?
Right. So I was talking to Hopkins to try and see if we could get a tiny bot in there, and we were like, that's not gonna fly. So we're gonna bust down the door. Is it open from the outside or from the inside?
Here's what you know. So your little robot you're sitting going around goes up essentially the ladder, and it sees that there's a door with 2 guards. They're both carrying rifles. Which, rifles are great for shooting inside an oil rig. Can't get them in the scope. Always just carry a shotgun. Fires 1 spray. But, yeah, they're just kind of there, and, like, they're on alert, and they're extra antsy because they're like, there's things going on deck. Sounds like there's trouble in the vampire cells. Their assumption right now is, since they have no idea what's going on, there was trouble handing off the coffin, but they don't suspect, like, you all were, like, evil or something. They're like, great, this happens whenever they bring brides over. They're just like...
Okay, so what I'm thinking is I'm going to spend a point of preparedness for the nanobot to self-destruct when it sits on the door. Just a small explosion. Just
So it'll be
a little singe.
Do you want it to singe, or do you want it to open the door?
I absolutely wanted to blast the door open. Send those suckers flying.
So this would be a preparedness 3. So you can spend a point and roll a die, or you can spend 2 points, and it breaks even.
Jisoo is hella prepared. I'll spend 2 more points. I still have 2 more after that. And then, it helps if I had the roller open. Give me that 20. Okay. No, so I spent 2 points and I only have to roll a 1, so auto success essentially, right?
Mm-hmm. And boom. And it just poof, blasts open. The guards are kind of blown away too. They hit the ground. They are not dead, but they are completely shaken, and they're not too sure what's going on.
Nice. Yeah, they have no idea who's in here. Why are there explosions? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
if they can hear me,
let me make.
I would walk by and just tell them, if I were you, I'd get out of here. Don't bother guarding anything.
Yeah, their morale's essentially broken just because they're like, there's alarms, there's explosions. Let's try to find a commanding officer, see what's going on, because comms are dead. And yeah, they see you and they're like, aye, Captain. The deck is yours. You grab them, look into my eyes. I'm the captain now.
Nice.
All right.
Jisoo gets drunk with power.
Start wearing an eye patch and a claw.
I turned at Hopkins and I asked, are you able to climb? Do you want to come up with me? And I'm already halfway up.
Yeah, she says that she's able to. She's weak, but she can make it up.
Yeah. The closer you stay, the better I can protect you.
Yeah. She says, it's going to take some time to get past the encryption and to get the files loaded. They use very antiquated data connectors, and so it takes a long time to send files over. We're talking... There's a stack of 1.44 megabyte floppy disks, and you go in and there are 437, and you have to do them all. That's like a
Jisoo
90s
looks
cartoon.
Yeah, GC looks at the antiquated cable and just the disgusted, condescending look of disapproval. Ship or not, I don't. Should be better.
So Hopkins is able to assist you in helping this up. However, it looks like there's multiple factors of authentication that are required. So the first level of authentication is a password. The second is a physical lock drive that has to be plugged in like a key, so it's the key drive. And then the third is going to be essentially a hexadecimal sequence that's going to take some time to reverse engineer and get in. And so the
intrusion.
That's a start. So the digital intrusion will get you through the password. But it's going to take the 3 steps. Also, you do hear down below like voices shouting. There may be people that come up.
Okay. Of the 3 steps, which one would be the hardest? The hexadecimal, reverse encryption?
Your guess is if you can't find the physical key, you're going to need to make one, which would take you a little bit of time. You have some tools and you can put it together and you can be like, this shouldn't be too hard to figure out. This is an old system. They were all the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and printed on,
So here's an idea. You guys haven't used your network and contacts and stuff a lot.
This is true.
You have someone
So
on
my
there?
my concept is Hopkins sits at the desk, does the grunt work for keyboard tippy tappy, and I walk her through it while I look for the key. So she's gonna tippy tappy for the password.
The password.
For the password while I look for
Honey and
the physical
Hotwax
key.
again.
Available at Pelgrane Press. All right. So yeah, so she's going through and she'll perform it. So, looking around and just taking a look on your skills, is there a particular skill that we feel would be best for this situation to find it? Do you have an investigative ability such as notice, tradecraft, or
I do have notice. I mean, part of me is like, my MOS is filch. Can I swing filching this somehow? I know it's more of a sneaky sneak.
Well, here's what I'd say. We flash back. When you came on to the ship, there is a chance that you filched the key off of someone. Why not? But in order to make this work, that's it.
It's your
that
MOS,
works.
right?
Do you have a data recovery?
Oh yeah. I got 3 points in data recovery.
So here's what you do. So you filched a key, and then the key. We'll say that the keys expire every 2 hours. It's some like horrible, antiquated, high secure process, and then through your data recovery, you can spend the first point to re-engage the key, then the second one to sort of roll back their. I picture it's like an old cassette tape computer, like punch card reader, and you run a bunch of punch cards backwards. The cassettes roll back to where the old passcode. There's this thing while Hopkins is single finger typing. No, she's an analyst.
This whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
This whole time I'm muttering under my breath like all of this bullshit, this physical stuff I haven't touched. Like what they think having older things makes it more secure. I don't know what they think they're doing, and I'm just like
she's
rolling back the time. What is time?
So using those abilities, you're able to get it back. However, it's going to be some time. With that, you hear footsteps coming down the doorway, and you see 3 armed guards coming to the door, and the hex code has not been put in. Cut the camera to Sharong having coffee as the alarms go off. Hound she's essentially asking, should we go check that out? Do you think they have it?
I'm not a commanding officer. I don't know. Maybe you should I report to my superior?
You're not a commanding officer, but check out the insignia. No, it's one of those. It's like Jordanian prince. Oops, how'd that go?
wrong disguise.
I'm a Jordanian prince as well. But she's asking you just because she's like, well, I'm your commanding officer. I'm interested in your opinion.
I think it might be wise to check it out.
All right. And she gets up and kind of sachets out, and she's like, sounds like there's 2 issues. Sounds like there's trouble at the command deck, and there's trouble in the vampire holding cells. And she starts to get nervous. She goes, which do you feel like dealing with?
I'll go to the command deck. You're the superior officer. You're more trained to deal with the vampire holding cell.
You notice she looks scared to go down there, and she's like, you're right. I'm the commanding officer. You go to the vampire holding cell, I go to the command deck. And then she goes to the command deck.
Yeah. Okay,
she thought it over.
I would probably want, my first idea would be to find G, because my thought would be, we need to get this data. Daquan's probably did something in the vampire and running away. But if she's going there, so I put 5 points into my Henry Albertson, the Twinkie Sailors, and the Beefcake, right? Can I call on them? Like, can I go up and try and use them?
So, as you go up and go to them, you notice that they have been taken, like, they're put under what looks like arrest by crew members of the H.M.S. Proserpine.
Okay.
It doesn't look like this is that antagonistic. It's one of those things where it's like a triage situation. It's like, okay, there's alarms. We need you 10 to line up against the wall and sit on your hands for now.
Can I go up and say, the Hound needs you in the command, not in the command deck, because she went to the command deck. The Hound needs you in the vampire holding cell now. She just sent me to fetch you. And I'm disguised, right? So
you are disguised. But let's see, is there a good skill for the do you have intimidation?
Can I use, does one of my investigative skills work, or?
I think one of the investigative skills would work.
Yeah, I think either bureaucracy, cop talk?
Cop talk works.
Yeah? Do you want me to spend?
Yeah, so you spend, and they
Perfect.
They go down there like, you 4. And so 2 stay on deck. But they're not like hostile right now, and so they're going and they're coming down. So we cut back to Daquan. So Daquan, Alron, essentially, she fires a roundhouse kick into Ileana's head that seems to rattle her.
God.
Not only that, she follows it up like with a spinning back kick right to the solar plexus, knocking out. And Ileana was only like 20 years old when she got turned. Alron is like a full-grown, mature woman. She's swole, and these.
This reminds me, in the movie Scorpion King, if you remember, the 2 ancient Egyptian women fighting really well. This reminds me of that, like these 2 vampire women fighting.
Yeah, this also reminds me of when Harley Quinn and Lex Luthor's servant were fighting in Batman the Animated Series, the Batman Superman team up. They were having their battle. So yeah, they're she is rocking the vampire at the moment. Daquan, you have the opportunity to break out though with any athletics that you would like. You notice you're tangled in the vines, but you're jacked up. You could get out pretty easily.
Yeah, I'd like to muscle my way out. I just kind of flex if I can.
It's an athletics 3 to break out.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna spend 2 points.
Nice.
And then
It rings.
I'll do that. Uh, 4. Yeah, no, 5. Sorry.
You are out like gout. With that said,
Isn't that slow? Doesn't gout make you slower?
out like gout.
Was that my action?
That's your action, but you're going to get a chance to dodge if you want to use some vampiric speed, because Dr. Draws is attempting to drill you with a drill.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Yeah. I would like to. Is there
The
any way that I
threshold will be
can-
like 6. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any way for me to turn it on her instead of like dodging? Kind of turn it onto her. So kind of like bend the wrist and kind of bend the drill.
Here's how it works. We'll make a weapons roll, and the weapons roll works like this. If you beat her roll, then you turn the drill on her. If you do not beat her roll, then she gets you with the drill twice.
Risk.
Ready for those?
Yep. I'm gonna spend 10 points.
She'll spend 6. All right. So she got a 9. She doesn't win.
You do have 16.
You turn it on it, and it goes right into her. Assume, so blood shoots out her back, and she is drilled, and she drops to her knees in a pool.
Wait, if you kill the second in command of Edom, whoa.
That makes me in charge. Fuck these people.
Oh.
Yeah, so like I bend it over, I turn it on her, we see stuff on the wall, and as she falls down, I'm just gonna be like, seems the doctor's out. And
Clip that chat! Clip it!
and I'm gonna turn over to the two fighting, and seeing that, like, I'm gonna feel my neck, feel the bite, and I'm gonna get ready to kind of do a move.
Okay. Alron will go next. So currently, let me get the thing up. So chat applauses. You gotta applause for that. You gotta give it respect.
Oh yeah, that was really good. Turn the drill on
Oh,
her
that was so epic!
and the what's it called? The
Quip.
catchphrase? Quip, yeah.
And then Alron takes Ileana and is going to essentially you see her hold her by the throat in. I'm trying to figure out how this doesn't affect you. I think it affects everyone. So,
Including the good doctor.
well, the good doctor's dead.
Oh, you literally killed her. Okay.
Yeah.
Hella blood.
You got
hella drill.
Not in a good way.
And
Not in
essentially,
the honey and hot wax, but anyway.
you hear a scream. Okay, you hear a scream, and it is fearsome, just loud, piercing, horrifying, and it just, you can see Ileana's eyes go white, her skin, as pale as it is, just like suck in and go gaunt, and she falls to the ground, looking as though she's lifeless. And this is just a howl. So the way the howl works is it's a special shocking attack that Alron can do on a single target. I had to make sure I had to read the ability to see if it would affect everyone in the room. And then she turns and she looks at you. Now, Ileana is not dead, but she is definitely unconscious for now. She might recover. What do? You have the drill.
I do. So, like, is she by the open door, or like the glass, whatever it
not
was?
yet. She's. I would say this. She's on your side. You're close to the exit to run, but she is on the same half of the lab where the coffin was wheeled in. And she's. Her back's to the wall.
Okay, so what I'm going to do
Ish.
is do la 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 la. So, could I, with my preparedness roll, and let me know if I can do this. Can I? Because I have explosives 4 and mechanics 4. Could I have set up because we haven't a kind of like a
In the coffin?
a bunch of stuff. Yeah, could I have set up like an explosive silver phosphorus grenade that kind of like shoots out like bits of silver?
Okay.
What?
Do you have any vampirology?
I don't, but I know silver is the weakness, and I do have
To
explosive.
some. So I'll
That is
explain.
true.
So every vampire has banes, blocks, and dreads. She appears to be afraid of something else, but not those things.
Okay. Is it hurting buff agent men? Is that a thing?
Here's a question: do you have any? Let's look at some of these academic skills. I'd say here's what would apply if you have any of this.
Yeah.
There's like the outdoor survival one. Or
I got that one.
You have it.
I have 2 in that.
You remember the vines. You're like, she's a plant vampire. Fire.
Ah.
Okay. I mean, we're in a lab, right? So I'm gonna try and find any explosive
Bunsen burner.
Yeah.
Do you
So
have
I'm
any
gonna find
points in explosives? You might be able to use that.
I do. I have explosive devices, so I'm gonna find any kind of flammable chemicals, anything like that, and just kind of set the other half of the room on fire where she is.
Okay. So here's how that works. So it's going
Like
to be
a Molotov, I guess.
This is going to be your or this is going to be your explosives versus her vampiric speed, because as it comes over, she's going to dart over.
Yeah, makes sense.
I
Okay,
hope
then
they should be
so
scared because it's her bane, right? So
I'm gonna spend.
It's her
my
bane, but not her dread.
I'm gonna spend
okay.
4 in my explosives.
Okay. Let me just double check, and then after this roll goes off, we're going to cut back to Jisoo. So let me double check, see what she has.
Oh no, only a 6.
Let's see. You might do it. Oh, she did. So it goes and it starts to catch fire, and she comes across, and she looks in your eyes, and I need you to make a stability check. She's not attempting to mesmerize you.
Oh, okay.
It's far worse than that.
That's just a base D6 roll, right?
Yes, and you can add any points from your stability that you would like, but you would lose stability when you spend them, which means you might come closer to being traumatized. And after this fight, you're going to be suffering. Oh, and this is a little harder for you because you have C-word serum in you.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It's so spicy.
Yeah. Oh, would my stability have reset from when I lost 2 points a while ago?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, so then I'm gonna spend 2 points from that. Then I guess.
Okay.
Because I have my base is 7. Actually, let's spend 3 points. I don't
Oh
want
my
this.
god. Oh.
All right, so spend 3 points. Go roll. 6.
All right. It's a 6.
Roll.
Let's do a roll off. Just one
Alright.
straight D6.
My heart will take
I
it.
got a 2. God damn it! I got a 2.
Oh no.
Her eyes meet yours, and you are completely and totally lost in them for now. We're gonna cut to black on that scene, and then cut back to Jisoo. So Jisoo, there are. Okay, you said what you wanted to do in chat, but I think the audience needs to hear it.
Oh
Because
yeah,
it's a
yeah. I was
really
just
good
prepping
idea.
for you, right?
Yeah.
So I have an 8 in disguise, which allows me to use connected cover, so I can spend my cover points to have a better disguise because I know people. So I see these 3 armed guards coming into the door, and I'm like, shit, okay, cool. I'm gonna use those cover points. I want to convince them that I actually belong here. They want to see what I'm up to. I'm cool as a cucumber. I'm in charge here. I want to name drop anyone like their uppers or someone.
A hound. You met the hound, right?
I didn't I?
I will say this.
We met the
she
hound.
is on the way.
Oh,
So,
shoot. Right, good point. What about the doctor, the good doctor?
The one that just died.
Here's
we
a
don't know
couple.
that.
There's a couple things that you have in your favor. One, Daquan, also known as Nails, and Elvis would have prepared you for this moment.
Right.
They've instructed you to refer to yourself as Prince, and they will accept you as a Duke of Edom, and understand that you have every authority to be here. They might question what Hopkins is doing.
But if they're lowly guards, can you just bully them? Try bullying them.
You definitely can. So any skills you'd like to use, because they believe you're well, it's sort of like this. They now see you are who you are, and they're like, yes, but what about the prisoner?
Oh, don't you have better things to do? I'm totally gonna spend flattery. I don't need to flirt with these ones. I'm gonna flatter them.
You're good guards.
You're so
You're good guards.
There's absolutely no reason any one of you could take someone on right now. Why are you traveling in packs? Like this prisoner, this is part of the volunteer work, whatever. Just trying to work off the debts of why she's here. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
They try to work off the debts. It's like this global conspiracy Dracula document leaking
Working off
war criminal is working off her debts.
We're using her to,
No.
if she's already here, we might as well use her,
That's what it is. In fact, and Hopkins jumps right in too and says, Prince is making me offload the remaining files I refuse to give over. And then they're like, all right, yeah. And Hopkins is breathing heavy. She's not used to lying towards these Proserpine raiding individuals. And they totally buy your story. They're like, that's a good idea. The prisoners should be put to work. Yeah, this prison labor program. What are we going to pay them? A fair wage, says one. We should pay better than a fair wage. Fuck yeah, they say, and then they walk off. They're not bad boys. They're just misguided.
You cuties have such great ideas.
They kind of like blush and toddle out. So they're coming out, and then you hear a shout that sounds familiar at the end of the hallway. Where the fuck are you going? It's the hound. So.
Oh God. In that
Has
time,
the hex code been broken yet?
yeah, that was my next question.
We're gonna roll one die on
Okay.
a 1 to 3. It's not broken. On a 4-up, it is broken.
Oh Lord, can I spend anything to make that better? That's a 50-50.
It's a 50-50 on Hopkins because she's doing it.
Oh, it's like a fortune roll.
It's a 3, so yeah, so it's a die of fate, and so she needs you to buy a little bit of time.
Okay.
Hound knows your
queen.
face too.
Yeah, for sure. So the guards have left, but have been intercepted by the hound. Based off
Yes.
the shout, and I recognize the voice, I want to anticipate the situation. I want to figure out if it's just me and the hound, or if it's going to be me, the hound, and the 3 dudes.
It will depend entirely on which of you is more persuasive to them right now, because Hound's not always there, and
Right.
neither are you.
Right.
And you made them all blush, so it's kind of goes. However, they're scared to death of her and her writing crap. She's got a mean wrist.
Okay, so I need to buy time. My thought is Jisoo's going to just step outside of the space and just acknowledge them straight up. So it's gonna be like this wow wow showdown in the hallway with the guards in between me and the hound, and I'm gonna try and convince them. How do I want to do this? Can I flirt with the hound?
You can totally flirt with the hound.
She has seen us as like
She has
guards before, right?
Look, if we're being completely honest, the hound asked to be the one to chase after Jisoo and all that, showing up at the little the TV station, showing up places. It's one of those.
So real quick, out of character, remind me what the hound thinks of me right now. What does she know of us?
So the hound has been chiefly responsible. She's non-murderous for the most time. She is in charge of essentially having connections with all of European law enforcement. And her job is to make a map of all of Dracula's activities and check for patterns for analysis. And she would prefer Dracula to only kill terrorists. And so, whose noise is that? No, who?
That was mine. I thought it was coming out of my headphones. Sorry. I was trying out the music. To be like.
I'm a genie in the bottle, baby. So, Hound, you do know that she's essentially she's kind of like a cop, but but more like counterterrorism, and she doesn't necessarily view you all as villains, but she would need to be coerced into working with you. However,
flirt.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Are you going into the hallway?
Oh yeah, I'm stepping outside the hallway, lithe as lithe can be, and just looking. And I'm like, I thought I recognized that voice. It's such a nice way to meet you.
You come out, it's one of those things where very clearly she's trying to play it cool, and all she can say is, "Sup?" Hey dude, sup? She comes out.
So
All that's left
disarming.
is you just need to hold on my shoulder.
Yeah,
It's
they
so
see this.
disarming.
Yeah, they see this, and I'm actually pulling this up for chat so we can have the Jisoo and Hound face off in the hallway with the artwork. So this is gonna be fun. So 1 second, and then let me transform, and then so okay, we pull this up just in chat. So there they are. They're facing off. It's the Hound coyly looking at Jisoo and sees, and then she looks very confused to see you here, and is like,
Nice.
yeah, it's like, well, and she kind of says under her breath, she said, huh, and she's like, well, fancy meeting you here.
We keep passing in the nights. It's about time I've seen you face to face, isn't it?
She plays right into it as well. She's got abilities too, where she's like, well, you're far more breathtaking in person than on your wanted posters that are hanged around London.
Yeah, those wanted posters. It was funny how conveniently timed that happened, wasn't it?
Well, if it helps, I had nothing to do with it. I advised against it, said it was not ethical.
Oh, that's... I know. It's my
You want to get a
charming
cup of
good looks,
coffee?
isn't it?
No, sorry.
I assume you're here to check on the alarms, right?
Well, the alarms went off, and I could tell that they were going off up here because there was an explosion, and they were going off down in the vampire holding cell because there's vampire bitches. Like
there
5 of them.
indeed are vampire bitches. Yes. Have you ever met one?
Yes. They they're crazy. Then she realized, she's like, I'm not playing this cool at all. I'm saying all the wrong things. I'm gonna be judged. There's gonna be subtweets about me later. Right about then,
can I notice her nerves?
You totally notice her nerves. Like, she has not talked to any of her internet crushes in like a year and a half.
Okay.
The last one was Fort, who you met in the hotel.
I'm gonna. Did the guards, are they like awkwardly like back and forth in between us? Are they still
You notice
there?
they've all gotten out of there.
Okay,
and...
cool. Perfect. I was gonna part the seas, but no need. They've already dispersed. So I'm gonna walk closer to the hound. And I'm going to just gently place my hand across with just a knuckle sliding along her jawline. Be like, there's nothing to be nervous about here.
She bites her lip. You notice her eyes kind of, so here's the key. You either have to keep her eyes on you somehow, or she's going to see Hopkins. And if she sees Hopkins,
for sure.
It's 50. I'm going to be honest, it's 50-50. She's like, eat him. Dracula.
Fish wash. Yeah, so I'm going to keep...
He comes back every 50 years. I'll be long dead by the next time he shows up.
As I drag the knuckle ever so gently along the jawline, I will stop and carefully cup her chin to like guide her face to my face.
It's so saucy.
Half-lidded eyes, giving her the interest look and be like, wouldn't it be more important to go check out the vampires right now?
She whispers under her breath, and this is a very deep cut. You're seeing someone, referencing Colette. With that, the mainframe finishes downloading. Look at your face. It finishes copying over, and then Hopkins is gonna hobble out and say that it's finished, but the hound will see her. What do you do?
Stab her!
Smooch her! Hopkins will go down the ladder.
Stab or smooch, a new reality show.
Both. You know what?
That's a Daquan thing. Smooch and a stab in the gut. It's like blood is on my hands.
Oh wait, doesn't that happen at the end of that oh, that's a spoiler for the show, so I will not.
Happens in all my games. Yeah.
Okay, so she says that. Hopkins walks out behind me, and I curse under my breath because she should know better. Like, why would you just stumble out after the job is done? That's
She's been tortured. That's why she's like not in. She's out of it a bit.
She's an overachiever.
Do I know if the hound is human or has...
Hound's human, 100%.
Okay. I have her by the jaw, and it was a gentle caress. And upon hearing her talk about Colette, I want to quickly switch my grip to her neck and clench the windpipe and push her against the wall.
Yeah, it's one of those things where this is going to be a hand-to-hand, but it's only a difficulty 3, and she is most likely not resisting.
Yeah, I have 3 in hand-to-hand. I'll spend a point, and I'll roll.
Because she knows it's a deep cut as well. All right.
Yeah, so that's a 5.
First cut is the deepest.
The hound is against the wall, and with that, her eyes are at your eyes. She trembles slightly, and Hopkins slips out the back and starts going down the ladder.
How dare you?
Ah!
And then, she says, under the highest orders. That's what she said. How dare she? She's like, by the highest command, and her eyes sort of you notice she almost like tears up too. You can tell there's probably some deep leverage that's being held over her. She's probably lost at least one person. And with that, we cut back downstairs. So
how many guards are left?
So on the deck, there's 2, but they are armed, and they're confused though, because like there's a lot going on. I mean, they've got
so
a ship full of twinks, a beefcake.
I have 8 points of filch, right?
Yes.
So could I have filched the badge or something from the Hound, like some sort of insignia?
Yeah, I'll let you.
I have 3 points of. I have 8 points of conceal.
I'd put it like this: if you try to put your hands on the Hound, and your name's not Jisoo, you might get into a tumble. And she has the abilities to defend herself.
Right.
This is special circumstance up there. But with that said, it's not hard for you to just flash any sort of badge. You probably have like 10 badges. You got Chuck E. Cheese
I'm the one with my millions of passports, right?
Yes.
So could I have used like conceal or something to have brought all these passports on me or a badge on me?
Here's what I could say. You could have snatched one. Like, say there's like a barracks or something like that. And just
right.
Pull something
Filched
up.
One there.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Is there a roll, or do I just spend points?
No roll. You got it. Everyone else is on high alert.
Okay, great. And I'll be like, I thought I told you to go to the vampire holding cell. I'm here to take care of the prisoners.
All right. They see you. And they're like, we can't leave. These are.
I am here. Can you not understand me? The Hound. Can you not hear the alarms? This is special. The Hound wants you to go to the vampire cell right now. You're armed. I am not. I will see the prisoners. You have to deal with that.
They outnumber you, they say, as they're like leaving slowly. They're like, we don't want to get yelled at today. And to be honest.
Sorry, was I yelling too loud?
No.
Okay, cool.
I was going to say, they're like, with all these twinks, there's going to be some temptations. It's like, go back to...
And the beefcake.
The beefcake.
Okay, so I signal to the Twinks beefcake, and I ask Henry Albertson to stay here because we need someone to fire up the ship when we need to leave. And I'm like, you need to come with me now.
Aye.
Because we're gonna go and extract. Who would we extract? If I send the guards that way, so I have to extract Jisoo. Yeah.
All right.
So towards the commander deck or whatever.
Okay, so they're joining you, and they're going in, and they're going to come with you, and assist you in the rescue of Jisoo.
Yeah, they have 5.
Who has like a whole army, like
basically
her fan club now.
And I gave them 5 points from my covers. They have 5 points, I think, to spend on stuff, right?
Yes.
To help me, yeah.
And essentially, they're going in. Now, cut back to Daquan. Daquan, at this point...
I sent guards to help you, okay? I really hope that works.
Well, they'll show up, but essentially, you and Alron essentially are almost like a shared mind now. She can't read your thoughts or anything like that, nor is she interested in that. However, she is extremely interested with the idea of you being, caring for her, and possibly protecting her. With that said, she currently has no use for you, and she's willing to send you on your way.
Am I still under this weird thing?
Yes. So here's how it works. You are under an effect. It's a type of mesmerism known as seduction. She has essentially seduced your thoughts. If she desired, she would attempt to do what's called planting a seed. Right now, she feels that is too dangerous, and you're probably not the best person to plant a seed into, you're far more useful than that. Right? It's awkward. So I'll explain how this
And
works.
what if I want that, Greg?
Well, then we're going for it, but I'll explain what happens. So mechanically, we talked about on the prep stream, she injects mandragora plants into people, and you will turn into like a homunculus in 2 weeks. Like, you'll die, turn into like a carcass, and a little version of you will come out that is her friend, and she plants those in a bunch of people. So, but right now she's thinking, she's like, Duke of Edom, very powerful. This is very useful. Currently, before we end his life, why not spend a few years using her other abilities like lustful dreams and things like that, and just she's a weird one, but she's thinking, she's like, I could use him to my advantage at some point.
So what freedoms do I have?
Everything. You can do anything you want right now, except you cannot attack her. She's mostly just looking at escaping.
Okay, so I can do anything. I can't attack her.
Yes.
Okay, and she's looking to escape, and I know I've been mesmerized or something, right? Because I felt this control.
You
over
totally
me.
know.
Okay, and the other vampire bride is like unconscious.
Oh yeah, she is. You notice that she's starting to wake up, and now you're in a conundrum too, because you have the addictive bite of one, and you've been seduced by the other.
Oh, God.
You're just like, when we talk about beefcakes, Daquan is just like getting smooched up by all these vampires.
Oh God, you're being double mind control.
I know, right?
But-
so seeing this, I'm just gonna be like, I'm really popular today.
Yeah,
Guards,
and
do the guards arrive by any chance?
yes, like 4 of them show up, and they see this.
But before they do, I'm going to just kind of say to her, just to kind of keep her interest, and just kind of say, so you asked the question before of why I was seeing Dracula's so-called son, right?
Yes. You saw my cousin, Orlok. She considers Orlok a cousin. They're both German creations.
Right.
Yes. He had a lot of interesting things to say. As well.
He's really boring. He's actually kind of like, I was in this movie once.
Weird. He was
Look me up on IMDb.
Yeah, basically.
He was talking about how he had found, through some of his networks, some of the scientists that initially had done tests on them. Apparently they had found some way to stop the aging process, and are continuously doing vampiric exercises to outweigh Dracula's power. And I'm gonna like try and keep this woman in fraud as much as I can until a vampire woman wakes up.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
it's so
well,
good.
here's
Oh my
exactly.
God, you're
She
so wild.
she's now we put on screen, the Alrone and Daquan conversation, so now they're up on screen. She's very enthralled, and she's starting to have thoughts. She's like, maybe he is worth breeding with. And as soon as that thought enters her mind, you see a pair of arms come around her waist, lock grip, and she gets Russian suplexed by Ileana into the flames.
Yeah, Ileana is a dancer. She's very physically fit, right? Yeah.
Yes, and she has combat sambo training, so she's she's straight up in there. So Alrone starts screaming as she's burning, and as she burns, your mind begins to clear from that fuzz. And at that moment, 4 soldiers show up, and they see Ileana. The question for you, Daquan, is do you allow them to fire a hail of bullets at her, not you, because they know your nails?
I think the answer to that question is I go around to my back, pull out my gun with a silver bullet, and I'm like, fire away, you pieces of shit!
And with that, Ileana takes one last look at you, realizes it's the end, and just there is a rain of fire, of ammunition, silver bullets, and they know very well how to dispose of a vampire. With that, before on tall, and I want to come up with a special name for the twinks, where it's like the Twink Brigade or something like that.
Twinks activate.
Grant, I will be very happy if you put my face and a bunch of twinks on
TOS. TOS.
Though I will warn you, whenever I Google twinks, it's always images from porn. Just say.
Well,
Yep.
mine are usually this yellow hostess dessert. Where...
Yeah, because you have safe search on probably.
Or you could just pull up Sharang's face and then just Twinkies.
These Twinkie the Kid, that would be great. Yeah, the little cowboy Twinkie. But no, so back to Jisoo and the Hound. How do you want to handle this?
Higher ups or not, you didn't have to bring this up right here, right now. That was your own cruelties. I'll loosen the grip on her throat, though.
She's having a really hard time processing this, and she kind of chokes and explains that in this line of work, we don't always make clear decisions. We make wrong decisions, hasty decisions. We make quick choices to do what's best for ourselves in the moment, and it comes back to haunt us later, often for the rest of our lives. And she goes, but she's safe. We've kept her safe. Which is more than we can say for Elvis or the others.
Elvis is dead.
When I hear that Colette is safe, my hand will drop in defeat.
Oh. Can I burst in?
You can, and right now is when Antal and Team Twinkie come through the door, and
Okay, I'm totally gonna try and kill the hound.
smoke and glitter. You're gonna try to kill the Hound?
Oh yeah, because I'm thinking this is a threat. Like Jisoo is pressed up against
Both?
the wall.
No. Jisoo was never pressed up against the wall.
Oh.
The Hound was pressed against the wall with
the
a hand.
Hound. I had the hound.
Oh, okay. I was
so-
like, if I stumble into Jiva's, I'm like, I'm gonna kill this woman, right?
No, you probably jump in right as you see me drop my hand from her throat.
You come in, the Hound sees you, and the Hound says, "This is the Prince. She's the Duke of Edom. She's our head of cybersecurity."
And I'm like, I know, I work for her. You saw us come in together.
But they
more to
didn't.
formally
And she kind of motions
look at
at
the
the
guards.
twinks behind you. And
And I'm like, I know, they work for me. I'm like, Hound, you're losing your touch, aren't you?
Her eyes kind of meet Jisoo's, and she's like, and she goes, I still know a few things, and then kind of looks back at you.
I look at Antal. Getting quite the collection over there, aren't you?
And I'm like, and I roll my eyes. I'm like, we need to leave now.
Oh. Yeah, that's fine. We'll get there, right?
And then I jerk my head out. Do we share a language, Jisoo?
Yes. I speak Mandarin. Wait, do you speak Mandarin?
No, Arabic, Hungarian, French, Romanian, Latin.
Okay. I now speak Arabic. After all my
Great.
time with you, I'm spending
Yeah,
one of my
true
points.
that. So I ask you in Arabic, like, is she a liability? Should I kill her?
I
Hound
see that.
responds, I'm not a liability, and you couldn't kill me, because remember, she speaks Arabic. You had a whole conversation in Arabic.
Oh, right! We had a whole conversation in Arabic.
And at that moment, she realizes Antal is Antal, and then like there's a flashback of every time they've tried to track down who is the real Untold Jordanian prince, college professor, all these different things. And then
I totally forgot she spoke Arabic. That was the best moment in this game.
Us being the best spies.
Yeah, us being the most skilled spies.
the hound
Yeah, what did
sees
she do?
that, and she just like goes into the command deck, and the door closes, and you just hear it like lock.
God damn it.
She's gonna
And
go
then she
cry in the
locked us.
corner.
She locked us in, or she locked herself in?
She locked herself
Lock
in.
yourself in.
Okay, and then I turned to
She's gonna have a sad moment alone.
So I turned to Juice. I'm like, should I pipe in some carbon monoxide or something into there?
Okay, well, first off, she can't close the door because I blew it open.
Oh right,
That's fair.
right.
All right, so she's gone into the door, and she just like goes into a corner and like crouches, and she's like got her head down for a moment. You can tell she's having a tough time.
So I look at you like, do you want me to kill her or not?
No, I need more information out of her. I need to find where Colette is first off. And I like march in. I'm like, we all have bad days, okay? Like, clearly, you're
Should
not
we
holding it together enough.
Take
Can
her
I just
prisoner?
No. Do we need to take her prisoner?
Because we need to leave now. The alarms are blaring. We need to find Nails.
At that
and
point,
leave.
can the alarms turn off?
Yes,
Stop.
because it's just like, woo! 2 vampires down, and a doctor is dead. And then like because like they figure they're like, yeah, that they're not too sure how to explain this. They're like, we're gonna have to fill out some reports.
Wait,
And
I just realized something. You're right though, Pro. If she is dead, you might
I'm in
be in
charge.
command of the whole ship.
I was actually gonna say, could I interject just as they're talking, not to have a full scene, but just to say over the PDA that goes out of the whole facility,
Yeah.
it just kind of says, vampires got loose. Sadly, the good doctor was not able to fend them off in time, but luckily her research lives on. But I, Nails, Duke of Edom, are now taking charge of this force.
And I'm like, whoa.
Oh, that's convenient.
they're starting
love
to
it.
think too. They're like, but the hound's supposed to be in charge. Then the hound's down. And she's just
No,
Yeah,
but like,
exactly.
do you see her?
the hound looks at the hound like looks at one of the twinks and is like, can I have that hat? She just puts it on. She's willing to sneak out with you all. She's like, look.
I'm done.
Yeah, she's just like, look, if you need to get more information out of me, this is not the place to do it. She explains, she goes, this facility broadcasts to elsewhere. There are locations that are watching. They have eyes on this facility. We've got to go now.
Fine. I won't give her another look. And turn. Book it. Let's
Is she
go.
coming with us? And she is coming
Yeah.
with us, right? Okay.
She'll
Yeah,
go
I
with
want
you
her
all
with
as a
me.
prisoner.
I'm gonna watch her because I'm scared for GC.
Okay. She's going out wearing
sailor
wearing the
hat.
twink sailor hat. Yeah. So Nails,
Now
you're
he's
in.
wearing nothing else. No kidding.
Yeah, I know. That's what. Well, goodness gracious, this is the
Leave
best
your hat
episode
on.
ever. So Nails, how are you going to handle this? There's not always Dukes on board, but like, there's a big mess. There's a bunch of H.M.S. Proserpine folks working, and they're like, a comms technician comes in and is like, I almost called you your Royal Highness. You're a Duke, and I was just like, you're not royalty though. They're just like, sir, they're sending in a cleanup crew. They're gonna want some questions answered. Are you staying or going? They say.
So I wouldn't. Would I know like how this facility broadcasts? Is it like an audio feed, a camera feed, and audio, or just visual?
It's mostly just visual. There are some audio recorders in rooms, but the guess would be that the hound is going to trigger some destructive mechanism. She's a cop. She's like, we can't leave all that evidence of
That's what I was
one,
gonna
the
do,
things
as
Hopkins was
well.
saying, two.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hopkins might. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
literally gonna say the same thing. So yeah, I think I make sure to get the ashes and the doctor I make sure the doctor's dead without going into specifics of what I do, but I make sure they're dead, and then I
Can
make
you
sure
grab some of her stuff, like her research?
yeah, I'm
notes?
gonna do that. I'm gonna take the ashes and then like the other vampire body, like let the sun roast that in the other room, and then once they're done in the lab, I'm gonna like burn it off by taking. I want to take the cancer sample and some of her notes. In like a briefcase, and then anything else that I can't think of right now that may be useful for me that I would know. Tell everyone to evac, and then I'm going to wait on the helipad. I'm guessing it's like an helipad, and I'm gonna say, I'll see who's going to come and I'll speak to them.
You're in charge, right? So yeah.
It's gonna be a while before they get there. It'll probably be like 2 weeks.
Oh right, and if this facility is blowing up, then I guess I just take some of the key
You're blowing up
personnel.
the whole facility.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Oh.
self-destructing the facility.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yes.
I'm
had
taking
that
key
plan.
personnel, and then I'm gonna go in the aircraft and fly everyone out. I'm gonna just broadcast to everyone, my crew, Jisoo and Anto, and just say, mission complete.
Roger, Roger. We'll exit through the what's our code name? Through the squid, which is our code for the water, and you're exiting through the bird, which is through the air.
Roger that. Twinkle on.
Did you want Twinkle on? So,
Usually-
if you want to escape by helicopter, Pro, I was going to say, if anyone has any preparedness, Chicken Little isn't that far off. He has an Edom helicopter, if you recall.
I'm out of preparedness. I spent it all on my sleep serum.
I have piloting as like my MOS. So if there's like a helicopter there, I can pilot.
It wouldn't give it to you, but it's one of those things where
I have
Chicken
one
Little.
preparedness.
Well, what's that?
I have one preparedness if Chicken Little needs to come.
Yeah, go ahead and make a die roll and add 1 to it. If you get higher than a 2, he's there.
Go. I got a
succeeded.
5.
Yes, Chicken Little is on his way, and he's like landing as all that comes on, and then he like moves over into the co-pilot. And he's like, "Yeah, Daquan always flies." And then you twinkle on, and we will fade to black on that scene. So, you have successfully rescued Hopkins. You have downloaded. As you look at the encrypted data, whenever Jisoo wants to look at it, it has some extremely pertinent information
Nice.
to the entire vampire conspiracy. At this point, though,
Really quick. Hi, Mike. Thanks on Made Gaming.
Mike, he's raiding us.
Yeah.
He's that sort. That Mike always coming up and
Woo!
raiding us. Thank you,
Fellow
Mike, for the raid.
awesome storyteller.
Yep. Mike and I had a wonderful dinner with Sharong at PAX East this year.
It was lovely. There's a great photo that Grant took of me with my really fancy nails that Lizzie Stark had done for me that morning. Yeah.
And I had like a duck fuss dish that was amazing. Yeah.
And I flirted with
Me.
Speedy. Well, you always. That's not new. That's not new. I flirted with Speedy that dinner. I remember.
Yes. So, so we're going to cut to into the ship, and I want to hear sort of what everyone wants to do during this. So there's a number of things you have. You have this encrypted file that you have downloaded from Edom's mainframe on the H.M.S. Proserpine. You have Le Dragon Noir still that you could study. You have the Hound and Hopkins in your possession.
I would like to ask Jisoo to help me figure out the last of the Dragon Noir ritual to kill a vampire. And if she wants to look at it herself, I can try doing my traffic analysis and things to look at the data, so we don't waste time.
I will say this, to finish that, it's going to take at least 3 weeks.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just going to take some time.
Yeah. It's a complicated ritual, of course. So let's not. In the meantime, maybe if you want to interrogate the lady, I can take a look at the data, right?
Yeah, I don't see what's wrong with that.
Yeah, and I have traffic analysis. And I have not a lot. I actually don't have that much that's good at data. I have traffic analysis, the only thing that would help. Yeah, I don't have cryptography or anything or data recovery.
I can always do it. Or
Okay,
automate
you do it. I will interrogate her. You might be too emotional because it might be too close to you, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
we'll
will
have this back and
interrogate.
forth. Like, and I'm like, no, Antal, let me fucking talk to her.
And I'll be like,
Good
I'm
cop,
like,
bad cop.
Jisoo, I know something about trauma from the last few weeks. Maybe you should do something logical and cold, like the data analysis. I will talk to the hound. I'll speak in Arabic.
Fine. You're gonna hear a lot of angry keyboard smashing.
So
Even though you have those really touch type keyboards which make no noise.
Right.
there. So when you start to get into the mainframe, hack into the mainframe. Well, when you start to remove the files, you notice it's audio, and you begin to hear like a live reading of the Dracula novel. You know, it's the Tim Curry version, and then you notice as you listen, there's something lower on the register. There's a second voice there. There's a voice that's speaking just before the voice actor. It's a voice you haven't heard since that psychic began to speak in a different voice long ago when you were performing the ritual with him. It is the voice of Count Dracula himself. And you notice there's a lot of schematics that jump out on your desktop. There's a map. There's you can tell as you look through this there are many different coordinates and latitude and longitude, etc. As you go down there, there are bearings, and then you pinpoint in the Carpathian Mountains one Castle Bronn. And the most current update is after the failed invasion of England by way of the ballet company, Dracula went to ground fearful and has gathered some Ruvari Gigani in the woods, and Dracula is currently hiding in Castle Bronn, which is his castle. And so
Crack my knuckles, and I'm like, it's about fucking time we found him.
you know,
this is just an out of character thought. Can we cause an earthquake to happen there and collapse the castle onto him?
if you use the earthquake device,
We have access to it, maybe through our.
We're basically Edom now, aren't we?
Yeah, we have nails. We killed the second in command, right?
you have nails and you have the hound, but you would have to push that through. So typically something like this would go through the second in command, who's dead and got drilled a hole in her. So, and remember,
Serves
she's
her
the
right.
second in command,
Not the first, yeah.
not the first. And you might want to figure out who the first is, who the hound may or may not know.
Right. Also, can I just say, I asked Daquan to slap the doctor, and he delivered. He just slapped her with a drill in the back. So-
Yeah, slept hard.
Okay, so I will use interrogation. So I have interrogation on the hound. Well, you know what? I can do it nicely. Can I use Streetwise instead because she kind of willingly came with us?
She normally talks with Cop Talk, and you can use Streetwise. So the question for you is, she wants to know what you want to know.
Or Tradecraft. Sorry, not Streetwise. My mistake. Jisoo must have asked me to ask about your person, right, Jisoo?
Yes.
Or would you not have told me to do that?
No, I'm like, okay, fine. If you're not gonna let me talk to her, then you need to figure out where Colette is.
And I'm gonna ask her where we need to know where Colette is, Count. I'm a deadpan calm sort of way, which is very different. Like, I'm a good actor, right? Very different tone to when I was a friendly coffee making whatever. I'm like, we'd like to know where Colette is.
So they say Colette is currently in Hillingham.
Is that England?
That's England.
Okay. So I nod. Jisoo, you can hear all this, right? Well, it's not a huge ship. It's not like an enormous yacht. Great. And then I'm like, who is in charge of... I'd like to know the identity of the person in charge of Eden.
They keep that information from me, but I met her once briefly.
Tell me about her.
You notice she's trying to think of the best way to describe it without you slapping her or not believing her. It's kind of like when a bank calls you and they're like, "Will you identify yourself?" And I'm like, "Will you identify yourself?" And then they're like, "I don't know how to do that." I was like, "Same." So they think through, and she goes, "She's been involved with this since the beginning. She's been involved with this since Eden began. She is very closely tied to the old stories. And she's more like... you would refer to Dracula as the Big D. She refers to Dracula as C. She goes, D being the leader of Edom, D is more like C.
So she's a vampire as well?
Yes. He made her into one. Like in the old story, like the novel says.
Wait, this isn't like Mina Harker, is it?
No, the other one, she says. Lucy.
Oh. And I nod, and I'm like, so Edom was controlled by a vampire this entire time?
Well, she's his wife. She's been trying to keep him under control.
I'm done. So obvious. Why didn't we see that?
Yeah, we thought that humans could control
Betrayed!
Interesting. Later on, I'm going to send this info encrypted to Daquan. Obviously, we're gonna meet Daquan. What am I talking about? Yeah, we're gonna meet and we're gonna talk about this. But and I nod and I'm like, where is she? Do you know?
She's usually at headquarters, but she moves from place to place. She's probably going to head to the Proserpine, but after she realizes it's been blowed up,
I shrug. I'm like, that
she'll
wasn't
probably
my
go
decision.
looking for someone else. In fact, if you thought Dracula hit hard when he was burning down your clubs and taking your loved ones from you, and she starts to tear up at that, you kind of get a hint.
Okay, so I don't slap her, because if she was insulting me, I would have slapped her.
She wasn't. She's just kind of trying to lay it out what
She's
it
being
is.
real. She's being real. Okay.
Yeah, and she comes clean. She's like, I had a wife, I had a daughter, they took them from me, they're dead. And she just like breaks. And she's just like, and whatever you hold dear to you, the vampires will find and they will destroy. There is no controlling vampires.
I'm like, and this is why we are taking the fight to them.
Yeah, and she's like, the only way to handle it is to take C out. Take out the Big D and destroy him.
If we take out the Big D, what would happen to Lucy?
She'll probably go back to trying to control some other man. I don't know. She relives this out in her head over and over again.
So we need to take out both Dracula and Lucy, the two biggest vampires on the planet.
She thinks it over. She goes, not the worst idea I've heard all day.
And I'm like, are you going to help us do this?
She says, even if I had no choice, or no, she goes, even if I was given a choice, I would choose to help you in this.
And I nod, and I'm like, I just nod. Yeah, I don't say anything. I'm like, okay. And I turn, and the Twinks, were the Twinks listening? I hope they weren't listening.
No, they're like kind of hanging around Jisoo. We're gonna cut camera over to Jisoo, who's working on the computer.
They're just
kind of
draping themselves around you.
They're like,
and be like,
so what's going on with you and that redhead girl?
Whatever you think is going on.
Like their finger, like jazz hands. Sorry. Yeah, they're just like, they start sweating. They're like, so, on a scale of 1 to on tall, how hot is on tall? And then they start to laugh at their own joke.
This is why I like Grant as my DM.
You know, he really captained a boat for all those years, even if it was like a cover. They're like, you did a great job. What are you doing? What's that? Why are you looking at castles? They're like asking questions now.
Why are you paying attention? You have like the attention span of a squirrel.
have
Are you
5
trying
points.
to? What do you want? Do you want to learn?
I want you to add me back on Twitter. That's what they say. Like, they're just like honest. They're just like, look.
You realize a bot runs my account, right?
Yeah, but still,
and
we
the
like to
bot
pretend.
probably runs that bot, right?
Yeah, there's a bot that runs the bot that runs the bot. They're like, damn.
This is Jisoo.
Like, and then like one's just like, so you're some kind of cyborg, and like doesn't get it, and then just kind of like leans in close.
It's a good
Wouldn't
thing he's
you
hot.
like to know?
It's a good thing he's hot.
Yeah.
It really is.
They're like, well, we're hitting the gym, then hitting the showers, then we'll be back. But if you need any help with that medieval castle, Romanian countryside, you notice it's
we'll probably.
they're like, you notice they kind of seem like creeped out by some of the stuff that's dropping. Like there's like brutal scenes of the things like Dracula has done, because Dracula was like decimating terrorist cells and things like that.
Right.
Like they're just like, holy shit, and they get out of there. They're like, they're freaks.
The Twinks are the best NPCs we have met. Just saying.
I love the Twink team. They're amazing.
And the Beefcake's nice too, I guess.
On the sailing ship, at any point,
lands.
at the helicopter, there's room. Or Chicken Little asked Daquan this: do you want to go with them or do you want to stay with me? If you want to stay with me, where are we headed?
So as we were going, and like I think we were flying around for a bit, would Antal have sent that stuff?
If you think, I was gonna say either I'll send it to you or I'll tell you when you land. But if you're still flying, I would have sent it to you, being like, we learned this new information. We need to interface and figure out our next steps.
Okay.
Also, kind of like, you can feel a subtle "I told you so." We can't just control the vampire. We have to kill the vampire.
Is it subtle though?
I'm normally good at being subtle because I'm a disguised person, but in this case, I think I'm being subtle, and you're like, you're subtle as like a blow to the head.
So I think I read it, and I just say to Chicken Little, did you know?
Did I know what?
Lucy was in charge of Edom.
Lucy who? He doesn't know at all.
Oh, okay.
He's just like Lion Witch in the Wardrobe. Narnia. Fucking Narnia. It's always Lucy. Last person. Lucy.
With diamonds.
He's
No,
not even that familiar with the story. Like he's just like,
So I think I realized that, and then like the backdrop of like the thing exploding behind us, and I'm gonna make a flyover. I'm gonna message back to the two teams, just say going dark, and I'm gonna go fly to where we left Elvis.
Okay, yeah, he was back at the docks. And
we left him nearby just in case.
Yeah, you see Elvis is like he's on watch, and you can tell like he looks like he's been in a fight or two since then. And he's just leaning on the hood of a car, kind of keeping eyes out. He sees you.
Do we have like a helicopter?
You're in a helicopter.
Yeah, so I think I go by the docks, and I kind of message, and I think I let down a rope for him to climb up on, so he can get into the chopper.
please don't wait for him to climb up, then you just shoot him in the head and he falls. And I'm just like, I don't know what Pros got planned. It's like, it'd be like, come on up.
No. I get a Chicken Little to take the control in the thing, and
Takes the
as
control.
Avis gets up, I'm just gonna pull a gun on him just as he like sits in, and I'm just gonna say, I only want to get a yes or a no. Anything else? And this was going over places, and I cocked the gun. Did you know Lucy was in charge?
He says no, and he's telling the truth. If you have bullshit detector, he doesn't know.
Yeah, because I can imagine not every Duke had even met the C or D or whatever.
Yeah, so they would have to deal with Dr. Draws, who would not reveal.
Right, because you didn't know, right? And you were a Duke.
No, and like
exactly.
I think that's it, right? Like they couldn't actually like feeling betrayed, with like what Antel said being true. So Dagon's just like,
Not saying I told you so, but
look, I'm right out of mission. This man on a mission. Dagon kind of undoes the kind of cock on the gun, just kind of says, Edom has been controlled by a vampire this whole time, apparently, according to the Hound.
But she's trustworthy. And he's telling the truth. He's like, Then he kind of like thinks, and he's like, when did you talk to the Hound? You don't have to answer.
I don't.
Nice.
I just say, do you know any intermediaries, assistants, black sites that may be connected to the leader of Edom, Lucy?
There are many. We could go to Carfax. We could go to the. There's a blacklight facility in Romania. And actually, the CIA owned it for a long time. We run it now.
What country are we in again?
We're currently we're entering England now.
Yeah, we're like on the Isle of Man or one of the like English like territories.
You were in the North Sea, and then you got there from London, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna say to him, what's the nearest one in London, if there's one?
I think that would be Carfax. Let me double check. Yeah, let me double check. So, he starts naming them off. He's like, we could go to. This is like trying to pick a place to eat, and everything's closed because it's quarantine.
Or like trying to decide what to watch on Netflix, and you're like, I don't know which one.
Yeah. So essentially, he's like, okay, so let's think through this. He's like, it's going to be, he's like, in England, our best bet is to go to Carfax, which is in London, or we can go to. We can look for Hawkins' old house, the Exeter. Those are our best options.
I think I say, let's go to Carfax. Sooner the better. Can you fight?
He goes. He kind of motions to the. There's a warehouse at the docks you were by. He's like, you can ask the bodies that I've stacked inside there, but they don't answer back.
Dramatic way of answering.
That's
reserved for us. We answer dramatically, not you.
After getting his ass kicked so many times, Elvis is glad to win a few fights.
It's like, finally, God, 5 people.
Confidence back.
So Daquan's just gonna say, fine, let's go there, and we don't have to follow me, but that's like Daquan's like side mission is to go track down this contact that's like connected to Lucy and like capture them.
Yeah. I would, out of character, I would be interested if people want to track down Lucy first, deal with her, and then end our finale kind of thing with Dracula. I think that will be both dramatically fun and storyline fun, because we've been the last 2-3 missions we've been after Edom, right? And finish off that, and then we're like maybe even fetch the earthquake machine or something, and then go get Dracula after that. I think that would be a great way to end the campaign.
Yeah. Let's take down the vampires controlling my Eden.
And hopefully that will give us some time to study the book as well.
So let's start to get, so you'll be headed there, and then let's get some hey, thank you for popping in, Love Psycho in chat. Let's start walking through what we'll call the sunset of everyone's activities, or if there's any inter-character scenes we'd like to play before the day ends. So I think for Daquan, it's a shot of the, you're going to stash the helicopter and then prepare to head towards Carfax Chapel. What about Jisoo and Antal? How would you like to? Hey, we're getting raided by the Opera Geek. Hey, we got 83 viewers. Thank you so much for the raid.
Wow. Hi, Opera Geek. Thank you.
What about these
He's
folks?
astounded. Always astounded in the presence of great singers.
Okay, Jisoo, what are you doing to sunset your scene?
While I haven't lost anything mechanically in stability, I'm feeling like
Oh, you will.
a bit shooketh. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many
So,
stability points do you have?
I think I only have 3. No, I have 4
what's your
right now.
max?
Yeah,
What's
my
the
max
max?
is 4.
Okay, so
Your
Yeah.
max is 4 stability?
yeah,
I
so-
never bumped it. I was
You're
just
not
the
a-
behind the
oh.
scenes person.
Oh, whoa.
I
okay.
know this is going to be great. So after what you've gone through today,
Yeah.
let's walk through the sad. There's going to be a lot of sads here. So first things first, you were involved in a combat where someone intended to do serious harm to you. So you're going to lose 2. 3, you were, and then is there other ones? Yeah, you're gonna lose 1 more from the intense stress of the violent and large battle that you were involved with. And then
Keep coming. Hit me.
yeah.
Hit me harder.
The recovery of Hopkins and the state that Hopkins was in would cause another loss of 3. So you're going to be at -3. So currently you're going to be suffering the same way Antal was, where there is a certain amount of stress, trauma, and you are going to develop an obsession about something or a paranoia, one way or the other, until you receive treatment. And I'll let you define that. We can talk about that. I think a good opening shot of the next session is Jisoo.
Dealing with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And then
Ooh.
Antal, having heard all this new information, is like, again, when he is stressed, he retreats to what he knows best. So he is calm. You see one of the twinks tries to like see, hey, is everything okay? And he like shoos him away in his cabin, and he is opening up the Dragon Noir, and he's taking out his chemical test kit, and he is going through his like basic like, I'm gonna keep studying this. This is the key. We are so close to getting Dracula. We're so close now to getting Lucy. This is how we're gonna do it. And he's very calmly doing this. And I love the final shot to be because he's like, he's practicing. So I'd like the final shot to be him turning into mist,
Oh my
trying to
gosh.
see like, what can we do with all this stuff in this book? So the final shot is he like the twink comes in, he like shoos the twink away, shuts the door, sits down, and dissolves into mist.
And that that is That is the final shot before the credits roll on
Woo!
this episode 11 of the Dracula Dossier. So let's go around, talk about how we enjoyed ourselves. That was kind of an action-packed, exciting episode of the epic escape from the H.M.S. Proserpine. And let's go around. So we will go in reverse order. Sharang, how was that for you? How did you enjoy it?
Great. I love the Twinks, and I'm going to take credit because I put the 5 points into network to bring the Twinks and Beefcake into the picture.
They're perfect.
Yeah, that was a really interesting episode because a lot of action-y things were going on, and also it feels it's very narratively and just like games that like not cathartic. I don't know. I can't think the right academic word now, but it's very game satisfying for us to find like, yes, we know what's happening. We're hitting the end. Like we know Lucy's there. We know where Dracula is. We're gonna do this, bitches.
Yeah.
Well, very exciting, session, and it's nice to see all the build up to these dramatic moments as well. And our good friend Jess, the great burst of hope.
Hey, hi, hello, it's me. I'm Jess. I use they, them pronouns. I go by Burst of Hope on Twitter. I think this is a big hurrah. I'm looking forward to the rest of the drama in this game. And you can catch me behind the scenes at Hutopia, twitch.tv/Hutopia. And it's for POC by POC channel, and I'm super excited to be here. This is always like it's a flex of like spy, keeping track of our clues and figuring out where we're pulling our strings of drama, and now I get to noodle on what Jisoo is doing with negative stability.
Yeah, with her obsession.
So excited.
These are my obsessions. Sorry, I went there.
Hell yeah.
Last but certainly not least, Pro, how is it?
Hey, yeah, today was good. Daquan kind of came on top. First they were bitten, then they were mesmerized, and I just killed both of them. So I came out aces, not really affected by it.
Lol.
So that's super great.
Yeah, you had almost as like you had in one session enough like supernatural thrown at you that has hit me in multiple sessions, right? Because you have
right?
bite, mesmerism, and magic vines, super speed, all
Drugged
of
up?
this thrown at you. Yeah.
Super drugged up still. Yeah, so it was super great. But I am Pro Restarter. You can catch me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all over the same place. Right now, you can mostly catch me in my podcast, Shadow of the Demon. No, Shadow of Arcanum. It is a Shadow of the Demon Lord rule set run in a Critical Role universe. As a full PLC group. You can catch it on Spotify, Google Podcast, and Apple Podcast. So yeah, the third episode was just released on Friday. Love the game, love playing in this game. So yeah, can't wait for next week, and we can see where that takes us.
Exciting.
I want to give my plug if that's okay.
Give your
Grant.
plug.
Yeah, so I'm Sharang Biswas. You can find me at Sharang Biswas on Twitter. And my plug is Yesterday, Honey and Hot Wax, an anthology of erotic art games released on Drive-Thru RPG. So if that is your preferred store, check it out. It's an anthology of cool games about sex and sexuality by a diverse team of 9 designers. And part of the proceeds go to sex positive charities. It is also published by Pelgrane Press, who is sponsoring this podcast. So do check it out. And if you do like it, please leave us reviews. You all know how important reviews are on the various areas. So do check it out. I'm the co-editor, if that wasn't clear before. So.
And there's that chance that I might show up as a quote on the Drive-Thru RPG.
There is. Grant gave us a lovely quote because Grant liked the project and we sent it to our publisher. So once we have a few quotes, we're going to put them on. We had a really famous erotica writer, Cecilia Tan, write a glowing review of the book on Goodreads, and she seems to really like it. She says the chapter on consent is worth the price of the book. So that was written by Maury Brown. So do check that out.
So, in lastly, my name's Grant Ellis. I'm the director of the Dracula Dossier campaign. That's just a fancy way of saying Game Master. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Pelgrane Press. You can check out more information about the campaign at the following links. The best way to support our show is to click on these links because Pelgrane can see how much traffic goes through. Clicking through is actually more important than buying in many ways because it shows that there's engagement and a desire to learn more about these products. If you want to purchase the products, you can get 20% off using this voucher code that is good till August 31st. We'd also like to thank Jabari Weathers for the artwork that they created for the show. And as always, we're going to leave with the intro as our outro. See you next week and on Thursday for our prep session for the Dracula Dossier. Au revoir.